Hello, 7th graders. I'm going to start today by doing a review. And our first review is going to be from the very first page of the packet that you received. If you didn't receive it, follow along, get out some paper, turn this video off for a second, and I'm going to make it so that you will have everything that you need, whether you picked up the review or not. So, let's start here. The very first lesson we're going to review today is solving equations by adding or subtracting. So, there's two different things that we're going to do. One is done with arithmetic. A fancy word for that is arithmetic. And another way that we undo things is through algebra or algebraic. So, let's talk about what an inverse operation is. These are operations that undo each other, and the opposite of adding is subtracting. The opposite of multiplying is dividing. Those are the four different operations that we're going to work with for one-step equations and then on to two-step equations. So let's take a look at the rules. The first thing, the most important thing, is we want to get the variable by itself on one side of the equation. So variables are just letters or symbols that represent some number. So it might be an X or a Y or a Q or an M. It can be anything. We do the opposite to get the variable by itself. Well, what does that mean? If I see something is added, I'll subtract it to get rid of it or make it a zero. If I see something is subtracted, then I will add it by getting rid of it. If I see that there's multiplication, I'll undo it with division. And the same is true if I see division, I'll undo it with multiplication. So, whatever you do to one side of the equation, you always have to do to the other side of the equation. You have to be fair to both sides of those equations. So let's start out here with the example. It says there's some number, we call it x, that when I subtract 34 from it, I end up with negative 46. Well, I like to start mine with that Great Wall of China, a line that represents the equal sign. Just bring it all the way down. So, I see here that I'm going to work on the side where my variable is. There's the x. It says x minus some number. So the opposite of that would be to add some number. I'm going to add 34 to both sides of the equation. When I do that, this goes away because it becomes 0. So anything plus 0 is that thing. So x plus 0 is x. On this side, well, I have negative 46 and positive 34. I have 46 negatives, so I know I'm going to have more negatives. How many more of them? 12. So take the absolute value of the number that you have more of. I have more of the negative 46. Subtract the 34, and I end up with, well, 6 minus 4 is 2. 4 minus 3 is 1. And I know that I have more negatives, so my answer here is x equals negative 12. Now, we talked about checking. How do I check that? Well, I would start, the way that I check it is, I start with the equation that I had. So x, and instead of x, I'm putting a little box here. X minus 34 equals negative 46. What am I going to put in that box? I'm going to put that negative 12 in the box. Why? Because that's the number I came up with that makes this equation true. So negative 12 minus 34 equals negative 46. If you have a calculator, just put it in the calculator. Otherwise, just know I have 12 negatives, I have 34 negatives. When I add those two together, I get 46 negatives altogether. Now, let's take a look at example B. I have 114 plus some amount, and it equals 249. Well, I'm going to start with my Great Wall of China. I'm looking on the side where my variable is. I have an m for the variable. And what I want to do is get rid of this positive 114. How do I do that? I subtract 1 from 14, and I do it to both sides. When I do that, this becomes 0. What's left? Well, just the m. So that, now I'm going to subtract 249 minus 114. When I do that, well, 9 minus 4 is 5. 4 minus 1 is 3. 2 minus 1 is 1. I have more positive, so my answer is positive. So there it is. The number that makes this equation true is 135. Let's check to see if that's true. the original equation said 114 plus some number, I'm just going to leave a box, equals 249. What number am I putting in this box? Right here. The value I got for the variable m. I'm going to put that in here. When I add 114 plus 135, let's check it on the calculator, because some people just say, oh, I'm checking it. I'm just going to pretend that those two numbers add up to what I came up with. Let's see, 114 plus 135, well, that equals 249. And that's what I got for my answer, 249. So that checks. So let's take a look here. What if I had a story problem? Your friend's skateboard cost $245 less than a mountain bike. His skateboard cost $45. How much did the mountain bike cost? Well, take a look here. It says $245 less. That means I'm going to subtract $245 from something. Here they decided to use K. Well, K is the cost of the bike minus $245, and then his skateboard equals $45. Same thing, Great Wall of China. I look on the side where I have my variable. It says take away 245. I'm going to do the opposite or the inverse. I'm adding 245. That makes that become 0. Anything plus 0 is that thing, so I have K by itself. And when I take 45 and add 245 to it, I get 290. So let's check that to see if it's right. Start with your original equation. Some number, I'm going to use a box, some number, minus 245 equals 45. What's going in the box? Right. The number that I got that makes this equation true. If I have 290 and I subtract 245, I want to check it. 290 minus 245, my answer is 45. Right, 45. Does 45 equal 45? Yep. I checked it out. I'm right. Let's take a look at the last one here. We're not going to have many story problems while we're working from home, but let's take a look at this. The final price, oh, that must be a key word. The final price of a stock after a day of trading is $22.75. So that's where I get this. The final price means equals to 22.75. The stock ticker indicates that the price is increasing. Oh, there's another clue, increasing. That means adding. So increasing by $3.40 that day. So find the price of the stock at the beginning of the day. Find the price, that's the unknown. We don't know, right? So we're starting with N. That means some number, some unknown amount. It's going up $3.40 per day, and I end up at $22.75. So they want the question says, find the price of the stock at the beginning of the day. So what was the price beginning at to end up at $22.75? Great Wall of China. I look over here, I see that my variable is N, and I see I'm adding 340 to it. So the opposite or the inverse of that is to subtract 340. So let's take a look here. When I subtract 340 from both sides, well, 22.75, I know the answer is there, but I'm going to just do it myself, minus 340, because everybody makes mistakes. What if they made a mistake when they made that worksheet? My answer here is 1935. Yep, I'm right. How do I check that? Well, let's check it. Remember that N means some number. So I'm going to say that N is my box here, plus $3.40 equals $22.75. So what am I putting in the box? Well, I'm putting the number I got that I'm assuming makes this equation true. And that's 1975. I don't know yet. I want to check it and make sure I'm right. 1935 plus 340. 19.35 plus 340 equals, whoa, what? 1945 plus 340, 2285. Oh, I'm not doing something right. Look what I did there. I put 1945. See, that's why we check. 1935 plus 340, 2275. Yep, that's what I got. That's what I got for my answer right here.